You're listening to a special presentation from Night of the Living podcast, Zoned Out, the Twilight Zone revisited with Joe and Freddy. Oh my God.
Boom, 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 boom.
This episode, lordy, it connects with me so much more now than ever.
Right?
Yeah. This is a passage for trumpet. Original air date was May 20th, 1960. This is first of 5 directed by Don Medford. He also directed The Man in the Bottle, The Mirror, Death's Head Revisited, and Death Ship. For nearly 4 decades, he was one of the most prolific of American television directors, possibly best remembered for helming the final 2 episodes of The Fugitive. It was a 78 million audience for those 2 episodes. That's huge. That doesn't happen anymore. It's just not possible.
Right.
His trademark was day for night shooting. So he would underdevelop a print shot in daytime during post-production to make it look like a scene shot at night. This earned him the nickname Midnight Medford.
I love that.
Yeah. This episode is written by Rod Serling, cast of 9, including Serling. Our lead character is Joey Crown. This is the first of 4 appearances by Jack Klugman. He's going to come back in A Game of Pool, Death Ship, which is also directed by this director, and in Praise of Pip, which is real classic. He's best known for 12 Angry Men, The Odd Couple. Ugh, I cannot speak today. Getting tongue-tied. Quincy Medical Examiner, which I watched a lot of in syndication. Did you watch that?
Quincy.
It was like an afternoon mystery kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember the Quincy. It was like the early ER, which people don't understand. Early Grey's Anatomy. I don't know, something like that. But it was more of like a mystery
detective.
Of the week.
Yeah. Like he would, and it was not medically accurate. Like they would just make shit up that he would figure out to solve the case. It didn't have to be based in science because they're like the audience doesn't know. So it's really
back
fun
when
to
everybody
go back.
was ignorant.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them now if because you can Google everything, and see how far off everything is. Pretty funny. Anywho, I watched way too much television in my life. So Jack Klugman, he had a pretty hard life. He started working as a street peddler when he was a child, and then he would sell his blood to get by too throughout his younger life. Yeah. So you can kind of see it in his face. He's got like a very old soul.
Like you say, a distinct lack of blood.
He has a distinct lack, at least very pale. The other character we have,
see it in his face.
Is Gabriel. This is the first of 4 appearances by John Anderson. He plays like Abe Lincoln a lot, I think. He looks a lot like him. He was in the other episodes of Twilight Zone he'll appear in are The Odyssey of Flight 33, of late, I think, of Cliffordville, and The Old Man in the Cave. He's best known as California Charlie. Tongue-tied like crazy. In Psycho, last week we had a Psycho connection too. We had the sheriff. In this one, this California Charlie is the one she sells her car to when she switches vehicles because she's getting paranoid.
Oh, okay.
So
California Charlie.
Classic song. He was also in 8 Men Out and Ride the High Country. He lost his own wife shortly before appearing on the Star Trek Next Gen episode, The Survivors, if you're a fan of Next Gen. And so like he's playing a character who's kind of had like a loss too. And
oh man.
Yeah, it was just an interesting bit of trivia in his backstory. Let's see. He was on Gunsmoke and then became, I think, a regular there because the action sequence was such a big deal. That they started using it, the sequence from that episode where he had the big fist fight. They started using that in film school to teach students how to edit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they would use it. They'd recut that sequence as, I guess,
that's cool.
Like one of their projects. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Let's
That's
see.
interesting. The clips that like I wonder if that was because it was so well done or because because it was so poorly done. But it seems like it's one of those where you're like, take a look at this and think about why this is so good. I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, because it's like I think it's like a four-way fist fight, something
Oh
like
wow.
that. It's like a big fight.
Yeah.
I think there's more guys. I haven't watched it, but I read about it, and now I'm starting to question if I had my notes right. So maybe look it up. I bet it would be a real fun thing, and I wish I had done this before we recorded, is to go to YouTube and look up the Gunsmoke Buffalo Man fight scene.
Buffalo Man. I like
Yeah,
that.
I'm going to do that later. I'm curious now. Anyways, we have another character, Baron. This is Frank Wolf. It's the only time he's going to turn up. Not a huge role. Just kind of there to, I believe he's the one who turns him down for work at the club.
The nightclub manager. Yeah.
So he's best known for The Great Silence, Once Upon a Time in the West, which is a fantastic movie if you've never seen it. And Death Walks on High Heels, which is like a giallo movie. So he's done a variety of interesting things in his career. Nan, this is the first of two appearances from Mary Webster. She's going to come back in Death Ship. She's best known for Master of the World and Mike Hammer. Mike Hammer was a fun detective show. Truck driver. This guy is going to come back later on in the Once Upon a Time episode. His name's James Flavin. Best known as the second mate in King Kong. So the scene in the original OG King Kong when they're in the little boat and they're headed to Candy Apple Island. There's there he's the second mate.
Candy Apple Island. What is that? Wait, it's
Simpsons.
It's Kong Island, right?
Yeah, it's Skull Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skull Island, not Kong Island.
The Simpsons, they're like, Skull Island, couldn't they name it something? Can we go somewhere? Candy Apple Island, right?
Lollipop. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, there's monsters there. They're just not as big. Something like that.
Is that the same episode where they go, where nothing can possibly go wrong? Oh, that's the first thing that's ever gone wrong.
I think so. That's where Homer is King Kong. It was a Treehouse of Terror.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, what a great
I love
episode.
those.
Pawn Shop Man, who our lead sells his one and only prized possession, Trumpet, to. This is the first of two appearances by Ned Glass. He's going to come back in The Midnight Sun. He's best known for Charade, West Side Story, and The Fortune Cookie. After being blacklisted in the 50s, he became a carpenter and built his own house.
Oh, wow.
That was the way to spend some of that time. And then this is the final episode that features the original opening title sequence. So when we come back, when we come back next week, we'll have seen a whole new Twilight Zone opening credit sequence.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, the thing I was going to mention about the carpenter thing too, for a lot of people don't know, Harrison Ford was a carpenter. So was Jay Leno, a lot of the other people. But like Harrison Ford, famously, when he was auditioning for a couple roles, I think it was Han Solo even, he had a pretty good living as a woodworker and carpenter. And he just kind of casually came in and read for it. And I think that was one of the things they saw in his performance was he kept thinking, I was so much less stressed at auditions because I knew I had something to make a living. This was just kind of for fun, So it's interesting connection there.
I apologize if you heard any noise there, Joe. My Roomba decided to come in here randomly.
I did not.
Screaming at me.
Hi, Roomba. Come to visit.
How it sounded. Sorry about that.
That's right. I did not catch a thing.
Technology is just sometimes likes to fight with each other. It's like, oh, they record and I'm going to go in there and mess things up.
I'm here to cause trouble.
All right. Do you want to jump in and do the synopsis?
Yes, sir. All right. So we start out with our protagonist, Joey Crown, is listening to a performance in a nightclub. He's in the alley kind of behind the nightclub, so he's hearing it come out the alley door, which you don't really see unless you're like in a city, like the whole alley thing as much. But you'll hear the voiceover of Joey Crown, musician with an odd, intense face, whose life is a quest for impossible things like flowers and concrete, or like trying to pluck a note of music out of the air and put it under glass to treasure. And then there's a dialogue between him and Baron, who's the nightclub manager, where he kind of goes and checks in with Baron. He's like, "Hey, hey," and Baron comes out for a smoke, and Joey comes up and he's like, "Hey, Joey, good to see you." They're happy to see him, and he's like, "Hey, I brought my trumpet with me in case you needed a horn." He goes, "That horn in there is kind of soft, but I got some really good music in this one." And Baron's like, "Hey, look, like the last time you played for me, you soused it up, so you were on the sauce and drunk." And he's like, "Yeah, but I don't even know about alcohol anymore. I don't even keep track of that." And Baron's kind of like, I trying to kind of give him the easy let go. And they keep talking, and Joey's kind of really insistent and following him around, and he's like, I'm doing great, I'm clean, and I'm doing much better, and I'm really really excited to play, and Baron goes and sits down, and you see him kind of wavering, like maybe okay, well maybe I'll give him a shot, and Joey reaches down, picks up his trumpet case, and as he does, it flips open, and a bottle of booze flips down and smashes on the ground.
Damn. He was just about to get a break, maybe.
Right. And just at that moment, like this is again good about really good cinema. You show, you don't tell, right? Because we've been hearing that he's cleaning all this, but you can see in that moment, as the bottle shatters, Baron looks up at Joey looks at Baron, and they both know, like, this is not happening. And they just kind of sit there for a moment, and then Baron pulls some money out of his pocket and puts it in Joey's coat. He's like, "Don't," just says don't, but he still does. He goes, "Hey, for old times," he goes, "you had some really good," he names off some famous musicians, and said, you were up there with the greats. And he said, "But, what happened?" And Joey says, "Well, I'm because I'm bad, because I'm no good, because I can't, do something without spoiling it." He has all these negative reinforcements that are, if you know anybody who suffers from like a really negative self-image, or
major depression,
yeah, huge depression, or frankly is an alcoholic, which Joey is, this is really easy to fall into this. I'm worthless. I'm useless. I'm no good at all. I'm a bad person in general. There's no point to me. They kind of dig into themselves, and, Baron's in a tough spot. He's like, clearly he would like to help him, but it just, he can't do it. So, at that point, Baron goes back inside, and Joey's really upset because he clearly blew it. And he throws his trumpet case. And it's interesting because it's very physical. Like he's so good at, Jack Klugman was so good at showing that visceral feeling without saying anything. Just, he throws the case with a lot of anger, and then he kind of calms himself down, and he sits down kind of on this scaffolding and starts playing the trumpet. And it's a lovely little tune, and he can't quite hit this one note, and he tries again, and he tries to get up there, and he's got to really push to get to the note, and he just doesn't have it the way he used to. And so you see him just kind of giving into it, and he kind of looks at the money, or takes the money out of his pocket, and you see him walk over to the pawn shop, and he says, "Hey, I'm and the pawn shop owner is like, 'Hey, you back again?'" So again, he's familiar. He's seen him before, and he says, but this time I'm selling it." So apparently he had pawned it before, got a little money, whatever, got it back, but this time he's actually selling the trumpet, and clearly it's got a deep connection with him. He takes it out of the case one last time as the other guy's getting stuff ready, and he kind of putting his mouth in the mouthpiece, and you can tell, like, there's it really feels visceral, like he's almost kissing it for its goodbye, it's this last time. And the guy looks at him, the pawn shop owner looks at him like, "Okay, let's go." And so he puts it down, and the pawn shop owner's trying to joke with him, like, "I got enough instruments for Sousa, Philip Sousa band, a big marching band." And he's kind of justifying why he's only going to give him $8.50 for it. And he's 8.5, so he's like, look, I gotta sell this, and I got all these instruments. I can't really do anything with this. So this is what I can give you for it. So he takes it, and Joey gets the money, and then we see him the next scene walking out of a bar and clearly drunk, and making all these unsteady gestures, and looking around. He's got a big smile on his face, and he's feeling it, but we know it's all just temporary. And he stumbles over to the pawn shop, which is right nearby, and looks in the window. And as he does, he sees the Trumpet out there, and the pawn shop owner leans over and puts a price tag of $25 in front of it. And this is, again, one of those great moments where Jack Klugman, he's kind of got his face smeared on the glass, and it's pulling one eyebrow up like he's, apprehensive or evaluating this. And he kind of waggles his finger at the pawn shop owner. The pawn shop owner's like, hey, look, he's like, I got a rent to maintain. You guys, people like you don't understand that, which, it's not cool. You can see he's clearly undersold and overprices. He's like, and don't worry, I'm not getting it for this price real soon,
Yeah. I looked up kind of like you did last week. It would be $270.10 today to the 25. So it's not like a really nice trumpet. It's kind of a working man's very low end beginner probably trumpet he's been playing all this time anyway, which is kind of, it says a lot that it wasn't a really nice trumpet, but he was making a living at one point playing it.
Right. And so he kind of just stumbles away from there, and he kind of falls against a lamppost, and you can see he's having some thoughts, and kind of bites at his thumb, and he's feeling the uselessness of it. And all of a sudden we see down the street comes a speeding truck, and at a moment he jumps out in front of the truck and gets nailed by the truck, and a woman screams. She has an epic scream, by the way. Fantastic.
She does.
It's like that clear, blood curdling, intense scream. The only thing is when they clip back to like the wide shot, so they do a close up on her face with her mouth open.
Yeah.
And then they clip back and her mouth is closed. It's like, yeah, you a little continuity, just a little more continuity, and it would have been great. But they only clip to it for a second. You have to be watching for it. And he gets up, and the streets are empty. It's like it's nighttime. It's like, did he just pass out? What happened? So he starts talking to people.
There's that day for night thing again.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it was. And he's looking around, and nobody recognizes him. Nobody acknowledges him. He's like, what's the deal? And first when he gets up, he's talking to the police officer. He's like, hey, officer, usually the guy on this beat is so-and-so. So it's, again, another clue that he knows the police on this beat. He's from the area. He knows the area. He's interacted with the police before. So, public drunkenness is a thing that will get followed up on. So it just gives more to that character of who he has been and who he is. But the police officer's not even acknowledging him. So he's going around, he goes for a cigarette, and he asks for a light, and the person ignores him. What on earth is going on, right? And so he's kind of wondering why people are being rude too. And so he keeps asking questions, and finally at one point he goes, oh, he's had a cigarette in his mouth, and it kind of falls out of his mouth as he makes a realization. Oh, I'm dead.
He keeps trying to get a light too. Which as an ex-smoker, like that, there's a triggering that happens, especially in any type of material from the 60s where there's a lot of smoking, and it's so much a carefree part of life then that I think about, like, I was like, oh God, I remember really loving to smoke, and I knew better. And and it was so hard to quit, and I would never go back, but they do make it look good in these episodes.
My partner talks about how she's like, I don't want to smoke, like, in general. She used to smoke, and a long time ago, and she said, but I do occasionally like when it's raining or something. She's like, I smell the smoke, and I like, then I kind of want a cigarette, or I just like the smell of it,
Yeah, or just after a nice meal, you'd sit out on the porch and have a cigarette, Oh, right. Oh Lord.
Oh, those pathways in your brain that get formed in those addiction connections, right?
Yeah, intense.
And so he kind of realizes it, and he makes his way back to the nightclub, to the alleyway, and he's kind of taking it all in, and watching this. He's kind of just like, how to process that he's dead. He's trying to figure it out, and he hears another horn player, another trumpet player, and he comes over, and he's figuring nobody hears him, nobody sees him, so it's like, that's a beautiful, nice bit of playing you got. And the guy actually answers him. Oh, thanks. He's like, whoa, you heard me. He's like, yeah. He said, that's you're pretty good too. And they start up this dialogue, and essentially what we find out is, he tells Joey that he's in a kind of a limbo, and that all the other people who he's interacting with, who he doesn't recognize, they're also all dead, and that he can make a living, or he can go back to the world of living, because he knows what it means to be alive, which is kind of that connection with his music. And he says, but if you go back, you have to take what you get and you live with it. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I think I want to go back. And the guy's like, okay. And so he kind of walks away, and he said, by the way, what's your name? And he goes, call me Gabe, short for Gabriel. And I didn't mention this earlier, and I should have. When he's talking with Baron, the nightclub manager, he mentions casually that he used to be able to blow the horn like Gabriel. It's a biblical reference to, what is it, an archangel Gabriel who blew a horn and knocked down the walls of some town? Jericho, thank you. And so here, we're pretty clear that this is the angel Gabriel, who's basically given him a second chance. So he wakes up, and was on the street again. He kind of gets up, but he's shaken, but he's not like injured or anything. And the driver of this is one of I love this, the feel of this from this era. The driver is really nervous. He's like, buddy, are you okay? And he comes up to him, and Jack, Joey is kind of coming out of a daze, like, oh wait, I'm alive. I'm doing all the things. And the guy's like, hey, look, I got a great driving record, and I want to keep it that way. So he takes out some cash, looking around all, side to side, and he stuffs gives him a wad of cash. And he's like, if we can just keep this, the way it is, I got a lot on the line. And so he's back in the world of living. He's got a handful of cash. He goes and he buys his trumpet back. So it's kind of like this, it's almost that, what is it, Christmas Day in Christmas Carol, where he wakes up and he's like, hey, I can change everything.
Yeah, he can. It's just a second chance at life.
Yeah, it really is a second chance. And I'm curious, I didn't look it up ahead of time, and I wish I had, as to when the Alcoholics Anonymous movement started with the Bill W. and all that.
I can look that up.
And I'm really curious, because I wonder if that was kind of around this time too.
I thought it was earlier, but let me see.
Yeah, I think it was maybe like the 30s or something. But so I'll just keep going. He essentially he buys his trumpet back, and later that night he's playing a little bit, and he's alone in his apartment building's roof.
1935. In Akron, Ohio.
And so if that movement was kind of growing and really got some credence, this might have been something that kind of tied into that,
Yeah.
And so anyway, he's playing up on the apartment. He's apparently had enough money for an apartment, and a woman comes over and just kind of tells him how nice his horn playing is, and she says she's new to the area, the city, and introduces herself as Nan. And he's just kind of feeling positive. Still some good vibes from that second chance. And again, when she says she's new to the city, she's like, it would be nice to have somebody show me around. And then she's like, maybe you could, kind of alludes to that. And he's like, oh, me? Like, oh yeah, I could show you this and this and this, and it's kind of you see the beginning of a new start for him. He's got his trumpet back. He's got a place to live. He's got a girl, and like it's cool.
What more
And
do
then you
you
get
need?
right. What is life? And he's taking it for what he can get. And we hear the outro of Mr. Serling do Joey Crown, who makes music and who discovered something about life, that it can be rich and rewarding and full of beauty, just like the music he played, if a person would only pause to look and to listen. Joey Crown, who got his clue in the Twilight Zone.
You know, this episode has like, it hits me in a personal way now that it maybe didn't the last time I saw it, but it was like this idea, like when we started Night of the Living podcast, I was coming off of breaking up with music. You know what I mean? I sold all of my instruments, and I had a nice set of stuff, you know, like I had congas, all these really nice, you know, things that collected over the years. And I got rid of everything because I was just like, I can't give it what it deserves, I thought at the time. But then during the pandemic, the change in the way my, you know, everybody's going out of their minds, and I started playing piano again, and it kind of like felt like it was serving me for the first time and not like a chore.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, cause we were playing in bands and stuff or whatever, you know, and recording, it was work. Too much felt like work. And
well,
then,
the music was serving you rather than you serving the music.
Right. And I think that's like you know, that, it is something about like your soul. I think that when, you know, that's a real thing, like, with this character that he, and I think Jack Klugman just sells this Joey Crown character perfectly, but like,
yeah,
it's the spark that I know most people have that thing that sparks the will to go to the next day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for some of us, the thing that really smooths that over is being able to sit down and play music for yourself.
Yeah.
So it was kind of felt deep, you know, and what you need in life. What is the bare, what should you be thankful for? Even when you think you're in the gutter, you know, like finding those things helps.
It's interesting. I've never been like a professional musician or anything, but I've seen, you know, when there are certain artists who you hear about have this big hit, like for instance, somebody like Gautier, where they're like, oh, I wish I'd never gotten so famous and I just want to play music. And I think what a lot of people don't understand who don't relate to music is that feeling of like, no, that's what I live for. That's my piece of it. I don't care if it's famous. I don't care if I make a bunch of money. Like, I just want to make music that moves me, that moves other people, that that's what it's all about for them. And so the fame is actually more of like, I mean, sure, it's nice to be able to pay your bills, but like, there's something about the fame that becomes, I think it's corrupted very easily.
It's being forced to provide a consistent thing for an audience, because you're not, again, it's like you're saying, it's not serving the artist anymore. He's just playing to please the audience. And there comes a point where, you know, they're sick of those songs or whatever. And it's that classic thing that audiences always want to hear the hits, you know,
and
they don't care
the same
about
way
B-sides.
on the album. And yeah.
So like, and then Counting Crows are notorious for like playing their music differently. Yeah. Just how they felt like doing it that night. Yeah. And people, you know, some of their fans love it and they're like, oh, it's different. I like that. I like, it's not what the album is. I don't need to hear them just play the album exactly the same way they recorded it. So to me, it's interesting, but I know people that can't stand that shit. A couple people I knew bought tickets to a show and they're like, no, thank you.
I'd heard, it's interesting because I'd heard that about them, that somebody had said, oh, they're terrible live. It's super different. And I remember talking to someone recently about this, about Counting Crows, and they were saying, it turns out, I think this is Megan, my partner, basically said that he has a memory condition. Adam, what's his name?
Oh yeah. Duritz? Is that right?
Duritz. I want to say Duritz. Yeah.
Sounds right.
That he has like a memory condition that he can't do things the same way. I don't remember what it was, but
it's called marijuana.
It was really interesting. Yeah. but there's some actual condition. There's some actual like condition he has that he can't do it exactly the same way because he doesn't remember it the same way. It's some memory thing, but
yeah.
But I found that really interesting that causes potentially that creativity to shift it a little bit every time. And one of the things I really loved when they first came out, first obviously their first two albums I loved a ton, but then you heard their VH1 Storytellers whatever version, and it was like the same songs, but almost like they were covering their own songs.
Yeah.
That you had such a different energy behind some of the songs. It was like, whoa, this is so cool. I'd never thought of it like this.
I love that. Yeah, see, something new.
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It feels more like alive that way. But anyway, that's not to be pretentious about it or anything.
No, I think it's helped to be, because I mean, as a musician, you have insights that a lot of people don't, and I think a lot of musicians have a hard time articulating what is magical about that experience.
I think it's that, and the reason I have in my living room where I spend most of my time, I'm surrounded by instruments that I can jump to immediately. You know what I mean? Like, and there's the reason for that is like, that's what it is like you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're like, I have to play an instrument right now. It's like eating or breathing, you're like, you have to do it. And I think that happens when you've been practicing a lot and you really kind of start to take that barrier down of it being, a device and not just an extension of what you're feeling, but that's some deep shit, especially with the trumpet too. A trumpet only plays like 30 some odd notes, right? And the better trumpet players can pull notes out of a trumpet just through the technique of how they blow into it that it's not designed to play. So they can go like, I don't know if they're all on the high end or if there's ones they can hit on the low end too, but you're only working in a key of B flat, most of the time with a trumpet, and it has like those 32 or 34, whatever notes in that scale. So there's a very specific place that like someone who is a trumpeter, where they're going to fit into an arrangement, so it's so specific to the character that Joey Crown is. He plays that trumpet. Trumpets don't change keys. Like that trumpet is made to play like probably B flat blues and jazz, and that's it. And it's so specific to him. It's like part of him, like the character, like these jazz guys are like that. The real ones.
Love that, because that's without that knowledge and that background, you don't get the deeper facet of he like you said, the instrument he's playing is not a high end instrument. So not only is he
value wise, we mean,
right, value wise, but he is getting a performance out of that subpar, to use a phrase, instrument, and he's getting a performance that people used to laud him for, right? And so it's just interesting the depth of what that really represents.
It's not the instrument is the point, and that's like and I think I feel like they're making that point when they show the pricing of it at the pawn shop. Like you're like, oh, okay, so you can just look at it like currently you could spend over $1,000 easily on a nice, really good trumpet. Like I think a Yamaha you can get for like $700. So he's got like kind of a bargain basement horn, but it doesn't matter because he's got all the soul.
Awesome. I don't want to keep this going too much longer, but are you one of those people who I didn't realize it until my 40s that I am somebody when I am in a mood or I'm feeling something, I can put on music, and depending on the music I put on, it will change my emotional mental state completely.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
It really has that much of an impact on me. I can be down in the dumps and feeling like stirred by something super sad or depressed or just not feeling it. And I put on the right music and it switches something. Like it's just like a switch in my brain.
Yeah, I do that.
It's wild
for sure. And it's the same exact thing with playing music. It's the same thing. Like you bring whatever mood you're in to it, and you kind of can change your mood. If you sit and maybe you start off playing something in a minor key and you feel sad and you work through all that and you start getting bored with it, and then you're like moving to a major key and then you're in a better mood. Like that works sometimes, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's magic.
You just work it out through the music. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I know a lot of people listening get that. I wish I was one of those people that when I was a little kid, like someone made me take piano lessons and I had that foundation.
You might hate it though. I mean, it's one of those where it's like
Yeah.
back then you might hate it, but then you love it now. Yeah, it's totally.
I did that with the trumpet, ironically.
Oh,
I played trumpet when I was like 12, maybe for a year, and I quit. Yeah. I wasn't good at practicing. I was terrible at putting the time in, and my parents were renting the instrument.
Yeah,
so they didn't want to keep paying for it either.
I think you beat me. I know you beat me. I played the tuba for about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I never actually performed anywhere or anything. I had one great evening with my family making fart noises, and then I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Tubas are awesome.
Oh, so funny.
They're so big.
Speaking of ridiculous things, next week we have Mr. Beavis.
Yeah. Sad
which
sack.
Is just weird and like goofy. And I didn't realize it until later, but it was a pilot for a show.
Oh, yeah.
Which
like a sitcom?
Like this was going to be a spinoff of that started in Twilight Zone and became Mr. Beavis, blah, blah, blah. But clearly it didn't take off. So
that's insane. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Huh. So next week.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.